session. Good evening once again, and welcome to this subject of financial management, course code FMDFINA K41. Okay, this is all about finance, and finance is regarded as a science or even an art of managing money. So we take a look at the processes involving money. So what are the institutions that deal with money, with the transfer of money, the markets, the instruments that are involved? So these are the things that we're going to discuss here. It will not be a theoretical subject. Well, there will be theories, but more so there will be practical applications of this subject. We will do financial modeling, and we're going to make use of Excel as our main software for this subject. So as I mentioned a while ago, financial management is all about money, the management of money, the management of cash. So there are processes involved in the transfer of cash between parties. A company might want to expand its operations, and they don't have enough cash. Should they just drop the idea because they don't have sufficient funds? If that investment is really very good, then the company should pursue that even if it has no money, if it has not sufficient, the cash is not sufficient, because they can, of course, utilize the financial markets by borrowing money. Okay, if that project is really so good, and you compare the cost of borrowing money, for example, if it's 10% and the expected return on the investment of the project is 30%, then any finance manager worth his while should take the steps in order to acquire funds, in order to fund that project. So it's not a good excuse to say, we'll be dropping the subject because we don't have money. There is no company that has enough money. Everyone, every company, all companies have need of extra funds. And there are different ways by which these funds can be acquired. So that's we take a look at the processes of acquiring money or cash, because cash is the language of finance. Okay, we're not talking about profits here. Okay, one of the basic fundamental tenet or principle of finance is that cash is king. Cash is king. Okay, so by the way, I know, guys, if all of you understand Filipino. Is there anybody here who does not understand Filipino? So please don't be ashamed, because I want to be guided because sometimes I might be tempted to speak in Filipino, and if I'm not informed that there's somebody here who does not understand Filipino, then I think it will be unfair to that person. So anybody here who does not understand Filipino? Okay, let me put the question in another way. Is it okay for me to speak more, of course, predominantly English, but is it okay for me sometimes to speak in Filipino to try to reinforce or to explain further? Could I have your answer, guys? Yes or no, please? I would appreciate everyone answering this. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Yes, okay, thank you. About the rest, I'm seeing, okay, thank you, Jiying. Okay, because in another section, I have a Filipino sounding name, an anglicized American sounding name, but it so happened that the person was born in another country and he didn't know Filipino, so I had to speak 100% in English. Okay, that's good. Thank you so much. So once in a while, I might be speaking in Filipino. Okay, so this is our course outline. As I mentioned a while ago, this is all about the management of cash, the management of money, and it will be done in a corporate setting. We take a look at the cash needs of a company. This is different from what we call personal finance, because in personal finance, what we look at are individuals, their requirements, their needs to manage their cash flow. In this subject, we take a look at the centerpiece of our discussion is the corporation. So that's why this is also called corporate finance. For module 1, we're going to look at financial management concepts and principles. Module number 2, so this will be on the 3rd or the 4th week, most probably on the 3rd week, we will start looking at financial statements and reports analysis. Then we move on to financial planning. So this is managing your cash flows, your receivables. That will be part of financial planning. And then we take a look at risk, the principle of risk and return. So in this module, we're going to learn how to construct a portfolio of stocks. We're going to learn how to compute for the returns of an asset of a stock, and also the risk that's involved in having this asset. And then we're going to expand our discussion to a portfolio. Because why is it important not to just invest in one stock? The answer is that it's risky to just invest in one stock, because if that stock falls, then your full investment goes with it. So the operative word there is to diversify, to create a portfolio so that if one of the stock goes down, there are other stocks that will help mitigate the risk of the devaluation of one or two of the stocks. Okay, and then we take a look at cost of capital. And then for module number 6, we learn capital budgeting and techniques. And lastly, capital structure and leverage. Okay, so in this subject, if you click this one, okay, we're going to have a reference. Okay, and our reference is, if I may, class, if I show our reference, McGraw-Hill Campus. Our reference for this subject is corporate finance. Okay, so let's just wait. I think the internet is quite slow. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, guys. I don't think I have paired it. So let me just open one section. My apologies for this. I don't think I have paired this with this section. So, okay. Apologies for this. Let me go to my other section. Okay, let me use this. Okay. So the text that we're going to use for this subject is, okay, this one, Brealey and Myers, Principles of Corporate Finance, 13th edition. Okay, for those of you who just came in, I'll check your attendance later on at the end of the subject. Okay, please remind me. Okay, so this is the textbook that we're going to use. It's there. It's the Principles of Corporate Finance by Brealey and Myers and Allen. There's another author, and this is one of the best textbook in corporate finance. That's why we're using this. Other schools like UP, Ateneo also make use of this text. Okay, and it's an ebook, and it has several features that you may use. Now, for the first 2 weeks, this will be available to everybody enrolled in this section. But later on, I'm going to tell you the cost of subscribing to this. Yes, unfortunately, there's a cost to this. However, guys, let me tell you that that the cost of subscribing to this book, the benefits that you derive from this far outweigh the cost that of this text. So there's a study center, there's a student progress tracking. If you really optimize, okay, or exploit the features of this book, you will really learn a lot, and you will really benefit a lot from this book. Okay, so this is chapter 1, Introduction to Corporate Finance. So let me click this. Okay, so this is what we're going to for your first week, guys. That will be your assignment, to read chapter 1, and you don't have any excuse not to read it, because this is still made available to you for the first 2 weeks. But later on, I'll tell you how you can subscribe to this. There are many advantages of using the book. Okay, Introduction to Corporate Finance, or Introduction to Financial Management. That's our first lesson. That's for chapter number 1. So let's navigate through this. So 1-1 is all about the activities that are involved in corporate finance. And 2 of the most important activities are the investing activity and the financing activity. The finance manager, or the finance team of an organization, is responsible for these 2 very important activities that require some decision making: investment decision making and financing decision making. When we talk of investment decision making, we ask the question, should a company invest in this specific let's say asset, for example? So is it good for the company to expand its operations? Now, in order to answer that, the finance team, of course, with the other divisions or departments of the company, have to come up with a decision rule for that. And finance plays a very important role as far as investment decisions are concerned. They are at the forefront of the computation, of the pencil pushing, as far as the decision to invest is concerned. And that will come under, okay, let me go back to our home. That's part of what we call the capital budgeting techniques. So in module number 6, we're going to look further at this aspect of investing decisions. Financing decisions is all about, where do we get money? As I mentioned a while ago, a company does not have, no company for that matter, even the company that has the most asset, a company that seeks to have more investments, seek new business opportunities, will always feel the need for more cash. That's why there's what we call the financing activity, which answers the question, where do we get money, and in what form do we get money in order to finance this particular investment, this particular capital investment? Okay, so this is the introduction. When we talk of investment, we are dealing with purchase of real assets. And what's good about this ebook is that when you these words that are in bold and underlined, you can readily get the meaning. So what are real assets? Real assets are tangible assets or intangible assets used to carry on the business. So these are assets, tangible or intangible, that are necessary for the operations of the business. Okay, aside from that, guys, there are other very good features of this textbook. Okay, there are here beyond the page, these are write-ups about a particular topic in the subject. So let me go here. Okay, I go to the next page. Okay, so for example, here there's an article about, there's an article about Ponzi scheme, the great Albanian Ponzi scheme. Okay, let me pause for a while. Who among you guys have heard of have heard of this scheme, Ponzi scheme? Kindly write your answer in the chat box, guys. Kindly write yes or no, guys, if you have heard of this scheme before, Ponzi scheme. Okay, thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Basil. Thank you, Christian. And for the rest, thank you so much. Okay, that's good. Guys, I really appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your candidness. Okay, that speaks volumes of your character. Okay, because here it's good to be honest, guys. It's good to be open. Here in this subject, in this course, I do not consider myself as your teacher. I consider this as a learning journey. So together we learn. You learn from me. I also learn from you. So there's no need for us to be pretentious and say that we know something when in fact we don't know about it. So openness and honesty will really work for us. That's why I don't want, actually I don't want myself to be called Sir Bob or Professor Bob. I would rather that you call me by my first name, either Bob, but if you're not comfortable with that, you can just call me Coach Bob. Okay, Coach Bob is good. Okay, because it means mentoring. I don't believe that this class is a class that where I dictate what I know. Okay, because of the resources that you have, you can learn a lot. Okay, so I'm just facilitating our journey here. Okay, so thank you so much for your responses. No, and let's just use Google. Okay, let's use Google and see what is a Ponzi scheme. Okay, Ponzi scheme. Okay, and let's see. Let me use this Investopedia Ponzi scheme definition. Okay, as the name suggests already, guys, it's a fraud. Okay, scam to, no? Okay, itong Ponzi scheme na to, guys, it's a scam. And maraming example yan, guys, even sa Philippines. Ang daming naloko. Okay? Meron magpupunta sa iyo, magsasabi na, do you want to invest? You'll earn 40% per month. Pag guys in-offeran kayo ng ganung klase investment, mag-isip na kayo. Delikado yan. And you would rather guys not do that, not invest in that, because unless they show their business model. For example, we're company ABC and we just discovered a miracle cure for COVID-19. This will revolutionize the world. Okay, we have set up factories in Mindanao, for example, in Visayas, and we would like to invite more investors, and the promised return is, let's say, 30% per month. We have the factory here, okay? Although medyo ano siya, no? Although medyo sa 30% per month, that's a whopping 360% per year. Although medyo parang too good to be true, pero still medyo believable siya kasi imagine revolutionary drug to eh. And tayo lang, kunyari yung company lang may patent, si ABC company. And this will have a global impact. And all the world will be buying this miracle drug. E pag ganun, possible yun. But if somebody comes to you and say, I'm ABC company, may I invite you to invest in our, with a promise to pay you 40% per month. Well, what's your product? Wala, we don't have any product. Yeah, ano yung business model nyo? Well, kami lang bahala doon. Ay guys, delikado na yan. Most probably guys, kung ganyan, yan you see this, an investing scam promising high rates of return. I just forgot yung sa naging Ponzi scam dyan sa Mindanao, very recent lang yun, where people kept on investing with the promise of 20-25% per month na return. Kasi ang Ponzi scheme, guys, ang nagbe-benefit yan, yung mga older, yung mga nauna nag-invest. Ang kawawa dyan, yung mga pinakabago. Bakit kailangan mag-invite ng panibagong investors para mabayaran yung mga interest ng mga nauna lang nag-invest? Okay, another name for this is a pyramid scheme. Although may mga pyramid scheme naman na hindi Ponzi, Okay, so both are based on using new investors fund to pay the earlier backers. So yung mga naka-invest ng una, So, para mabayaran sila, kailangan mo ano ng mga panibagong investors, panibagong maloloko, no? So it's getting money from Peter to pay Paul. Yun ang scheme na yan, no? It's a Ponzi scheme. And Ponzi scheme, Ponzi scam, I would rather call it Ponzi scam. It's similar to a pyramid scheme. It generates returns for all the investors by acquiring new investors who are promised a large profit at little to no risk. These are both fraudulent arrangements. So kung may mga ganyan, guys, there are so many examples sa Philippine setting ng Ponzi scheme. Okay, you can just search the net, guys, and I leave that to you. Napakadaming, so that we should be aware, guys. Finance is all about educating ourselves also, not to fall into this trap. Ito yung mga get rich quickly. Imagine, kunyari, nag-invest ka ng 1 million, okay? And then, you were promised 50% per month. In 2 months, na-recover mo na yung 1 million mo. So, saan ka makakita ng investment na ganun? It's too good to be true. If it's really too good to be true, guys, then it will be untrue. No? Malamang ganyan yan. So, that's what I mean by Ponzi scheme. And ito guys, yung mga beyond the page articles dito, these are just 1-pager, 1.5 page at most, no? Kunyari ito, the Ponzi scheme has affected not only several individuals, but even one country, guys, si Albania. So let's open this and just take a look at this. No? Kaya nga, I really like this text, this ebook. Kasi ang sabi dito, for example, ito, the Great Albanian Ponzi Scheme. If you're familiar with the history of USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, nag-breakdown na to, no? And they split into several independent states. During that time, USSR was, si Albania, na part siya ng Iron Curtain countries. So kasama siya sa communist din to, no? Kasama siya sa USSR. So when USSR broke down into independent states, Russia became the main country. Tas andyan na sila Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, okay? Ukraine used to be part of USSR, but it's now an independent country. So how many years of communism and brutal dictatorship? Ganun na nangyari sa Albania, one of the poorest country in Europe. Tapos ano nangyari in 1996, nagkaroon daw so konti lang yung banks dun sa Albania, no? Many of these companies started to compete by offering higher and higher rates of interest. Okay, by September daw of 1996, one company was offering a rate of 30% a month. Allah. So this smells of a Ponzi scheme, no? 2 months later, may isa pang company na ito naman, double your money in 2 months, so 50%, no? Now, the only way that these companies could provide such returns was by paying the first investors out of the money received from those who invested later. Yun ang nangyari, no? Kaya pyramid. Kailangan yung mga nasa ilalim, sila ngayon yung magsusuporta ng interest ng mga nauna sa kanila. However, this is not sustainable. This will eventually collapse. Ganyan yung nangyari sa US, si Charles Ponzi, no? There's a book on that. I read that book and it's interesting. So ginamit niya yung US Postal Service. You may wish to look at that, guys. I think there's a movie about that. Okay? So ano nangyari? After many years of repression and hardships, the schemes offered to offer Albanians parang naging land of milk and honey, no? Parang naging promising sa kanila. No? Now, unaware that the companies were bound to collapse. Kasi nga, wala naman talagang business. Okay? Walang produkto. Wala namang pinuproduce. Wala namang na-generate na revenues from business operations. Okay? So, yan mo, attracted 2 million depositors. 1/3, ang population ng Albania at that time, 6 million lang. Okay? So, naging 1.2 million na yung liabilities ng korporasyon na to. Kalahati ng GDP. Ano ba yan? Kalahati na ng GDP ng utang ng company na yon. Okay? Winarningan sila ng IMF at saka ng World Bank. Pero yung government, hindi nakinig. No? Parang inaano pa nila, medyo ini-encourage pa nila yung mga tao na na sige lang, mag-ano kayo sa investment na yun. Well, to make the long story short, guys, in November 19, one of the scheme defaulted on its payments and the collapse began. Yan na. Okay. Siyempre, pag isa nag-collapse dyan, hindi na makabayad. So nagtatago na yung mga proponents ng business na yan. So what happened? Yan. Domino na yan. Tuloy-tuloy na yan. When investors tried to get their money out, they discovered the truth about the schemes. Yan, uncontained rioting. Anarchy. Ibig sabihin na anarchy, guys, without RK is rule. No? Walang rule. Civil war. 2,000 people killed. Yung government, they lost control. Okay? Nawala yung army, nawala yung police, they deserted. So yung mga arms nila, yung mga weapons, they were looted from the armories. Foreign nationals were evacuated, many Albanians fled the country, the economy collapsed. Okay, mga factories, wala na. The government was forced to resign and kinailangan ng United Nations forces just to maintain peace dun sa sa country na yan. And a good example of a Ponzi scheme. Okay, so these little things, guys, no? That's why I like really the discussions here. Okay, and then merong ditong ethical practices like short selling. We'll discuss this in detail later on. Okay, my corporate traders, etc. Now, so I would like to encourage you guys in the next for the next 2 weeks to please maximize nyo, basahin nyo yung text, no? Make use of it. Now, as to the cost of the of the investment, okay, so I already posted here in our modules. Kaya dito siya, guys, sa module 0, resource information, how to purchase it, and then how to navigate through the PowerPoint, how to navigate through the McGraw-Hill resource. Now, all the sections are using this. So kahit hindi ako yung teacher, ginagamit din nila to. No? This is for all the sections in FMDFINA. So you might be tempted, lilipat ako ng section para kasi dito may may resource eh. Unfortunately, guys, kahit lumipat ka, ganun din yung prescribed na So it's a departmental thing. It's a departmental thing. So let me just show to you the cost, no? Okay, so ito yung cost, guys. Unfortunately, it's not free. I wish it was free. Kaso alam naman natin na business enterprise din yan, no? And they have to pay the authors then. Siyempre, yung gumawa din nila kasi may intellectual property din nila yan. No? So the cost is 710 for the resource. Now, it might seem to be quite expensive. Pero guys, isipin nyo, no? Parang lang yan, parang 1 or 2 trips to Starbucks, okay? Or kasi nga, binubuksan na yung mga movies, no? Isipin nyo lang na isang trip lang yan sa your favorite movie, whether it's Conrad, no? Or whatever good movie house there is here. Mas mahal pa kasi magkano na yung mga movies kayo sa Conrad. I think 600, 700 or whatnot. Isipin nyo lang, guys, na isang movie lang yan. So just sacrifice one movie in order to investment to, guys, no? Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I don't have any pecuniary interest here. Ibig sabihin ng pecuniary, guys, that's your word for the day, involving money, no? We teachers of FMDFINA don't stand to get anything from this. No? Para sa akin, knowledge is very powerful and it's an investment, guys, in what you'll learn. So para sa akin, magandang investment yan. 710. Na matututo tayo, maganda yung mga examples, and then you can also use it in your smartphones. No? And where you are, you can read through the text. So these are the instructions. No? Now take note that the terms of delivery daw 3 to 7 business days. Okay, so please take note that your assignments, maraming mga requirements will be taken from this book. Okay, para sa akin nga, guys, it's not bad na investment na yan. Okay, sometimes talagang an investment is putting off the use of money now in order to benefit later. So the 710, as I mentioned a while ago, could have been used to go to Starbucks, no? And then take your favorite coffee, frappe, or whatever, no? Or see your favorite movie. Pero i-withhold muna natin yun, no? And then put the money there para for learning purposes. Okay, so I think I've said enough for that. The instructions are there available for your perusal. Ito naman yung PowerPoint na to, guys. It tells us of instructions on how to navigate through the PowerPoint, through the resource material. Okay, so let me just quickly flash that. Okay, it's not responding. Okay. Anyway, guys, yeah. Okay, so I think there are just 15 slides here. I will not go through this, guys. I'm sure mga tech savvy kayo, no? And you'll be able to easily navigate through this. Okay, navigate through this resource. Okay, remember, guys, free ito for the next 2 weeks. So samantalahin natin, gamitin nyo, guys. Gamitin nyo. And if you really look at it, guys, you'll see that the benefit of this far outweighs the cost of 710. And once again, guys, this is not a hard sell. I'm not, as I said a while ago, I'm not a shareholder of McGraw-Hill, and we teachers, as I mentioned a while ago, do not stand to benefit in this. Okay? Well, in a sense, we stand to benefit kasi uniform yung ano natin, yung text natin. If I say refer to page this one, everybody, medyo ano tayo, no? Medyo seamless yung ano natin, yung discussion natin sa class. Okay, now the first module. So I'm starting now with the first module. We'll be spending the rest of this around 45 minutes in discussing the introduction to financial management. I posted here, guys, a PowerPoint slide containing. This is a slide on the. These are slides on the introduction to financial management. But I won't use that slide this evening. I'm going to use another slide, and I'm going to post this other slide also here. It's a reinforcement slide. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use tonight for our initial discussion on introduction to financial management. Is my voice clear, guys? Okay ba yung volume ng microphone? Okay lang ba? Okay, paki-chat please. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we begin with this introduction to financial management. Let me just maximize the slides. Okay, the reaction time of the animation of the PowerPoint is quite slow. All right, first things first, guys. What's our objective in this in chapter 1? What do we want to know? What do we want to achieve? By the end of our discussion in chapter 1, there are 5 important things that we should have known, guys. Number 1 is we'd like to tackle what financial management is, its role as far as a business entity is concerned. Ano ba yung kahalagahan ng financial management, guys? And who are the different parties, different persons involved as far as financial management is concerned? At the top, we have your CFO, your Chief Financial Officer. If you take a look at the organizational structure of a company, syempre yung pinakauna doon, yung CEO. Then under the CEO could be the CFO, the COO, the Chief Operating Officer, then the CMO, then Chief Marketing Officer, CIO also, Chief Information Officer. Meron rin CKO or Chief Knowledge Officer. Okay, meron din, I've seen organizational structures like having CPO, Chief People Officer. ito yung HR, no? Yung talent management nila. So, iba na, the finance guys will have its very important role as far as the sustainability of any business entity is concerned. So we're going to take a look at that. Aside from that, we're also going to try to distinguish ano bang financial institution. Okay, so example, banks, okay, insurance companies, mutual funds. Okay, there are many financial institutions. So we're not going to really learn everything, but what's important is that we're familiar with the most important ones. No? So dapat pag at the end of chapter 1, when I ask you what's a mutual fund, so dapat medyo may idea na tayo. No? Also financial instruments and the financial market. So we know what a market is. A market is a place, whether physical or non-physical, where buyers and sellers meet. So ganun din guys sa financial market. It's a place where buyers and sellers of instruments, no? Financial instruments meet in order to transact business. Kunyari, I have shares of stocks of, let's say, Aboitiz. Now, I would like to sell my Aboitiz shares of stock. So where do I sell it? I go to the market, the PISA, the Philippine Stock Exchange. Okay, I go there and have my shares traded through a stockbroker. Kasi by rule, by law, guys, ang pwede lang mag-transact ng business sa stock market is a stockbroker. No? So we are constrained to hire the services of a stockbroker kasi sila lang yung allowed na mag-transact sa stock market natin. Now, there are other markets, hindi lang stock market. Meron tayong bonds market, money markets, and several other markets which we're going to look at very briefly just to have an appreciation of the overview of the financial market. Siyempre, hindi naman natin matututunan lahat yan. Ang importante lang guys, pag sinabi natin money market, ano yung trade doon? I'm sure alam nyo na yung stock market, no? Kasi ang stock market is a place where where sellers and buyers of stocks meet or converge. So the market is the mechanism that allows yung the trading. Kasi kung walang market, ang hirap niyan. Okay, kung personally ibebenta mo yung stock mo, paano ka hahanap? Saan ka hahanap? Kunyari, yung Aboitiz ko na, kunyari 1,000 shares. Magtatawag ako sa telepono, uy, gusto mo bumili ng ng Aboitiz shares, ibebenta ko dahil ng ganito. With the stock market, guys, everything becomes organized. Transaction becomes really fluid, mas madali. So my role talaga yung financial markets, guys. No? So there are financial institutions, there are financial instruments, and there are financial markets. We're going to look at them, give examples very quickly for as far as chapter 1 is concerned, yung introduction. So ito yung sinabi ko sa inyo, guys. Ano ba yung different financial institutions and what services do they provide? Alam natin yung banks, no? Banks have their role in society. Okay, and siguro may idea na kayo kung ano yung role na ginagampanan ng banks, di ba? Bank din parang, in a sense, parang ano din siya, parang market din siya, where there's a meeting of the net savers and the net borrowers. So ikaw, may extra cash ka, wala kang gagawin doon, hindi ka naman mag-set up ng business o wala ka pang makita ibang business opportunity. So what do? You park your money in the bank. No? And there are those naman that are net borrowers, say they need funds. So what do? They go to the bank to borrow. Okay, so dito, yung bank allows the flow of cash, no? The flow of funds. So very critical, guys, yung role na ginagampanan ng mga banks. Okay? So let me pause for a while. Any questions so far, guys? So far, clear ba itong natin? Yung learning objectives? Okay? All right. No questions? Sige, let me proceed. Okay. Then, fourthly, guys, would like to learn, as I mentioned this already, yung iba't ibang financial instruments. No? Kunyari, ang instrument, well, stocks, no? Isang instrument yan. Mutual fund is another one. UITF, so iba't ibang klase. No? So we'll learn about that. As I said, guys, we're not going to really dive deep. It's important for us just to have an appreciation of the markets, the financial institutions, and the instruments. No? Importante sa atin, at least may idea tayo how they operate. Okay, and this was what I was saying a while ago. It's the flow of funds. May mga companies na kailangan ng funds. Saan sila pupunta? May mga companies naman na may excess funds sila, wala pa silang paggagamitan. So might as well lend this to another firm na pwedeng gamitin to, of course, at an interest. No? So that's what we call the flow of funds. And there's one thing that we need to note as far as flow of funds is concerned. Pag flow of funds ang pinag-uusapan natin, we're dealing with cash flows. That's why in finance, there's a very important principle called cash is king. Dito, hindi natin pinag-uusapan yung profit. Okay? Not to say that profit is not important. Of course, it's important. Pero paramount, more than profits is the concept of the cash, no? The asset called cash. Bakit importante yung cash? Kasi guys, pag manghihiram yung company, ano yung ipapahiram sa kanila? Di ba cash naman yung gusto nilang hiramin? Okay? Tapos anong ibabalik dun sa company nagpahiram? Hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin, here's our income statement. No? We have a very, very good bottom line. We have a very good profit margin. Yeah, that's good. Sasabihin ng company na gano'n. But we need cash. Asa na yung bayad dun sa interest na dapat yung bayaran? Okay, so that's a very basic example that when we say flow of funds, we're talking about cash here. Kasi very consistent with the fundamental principle in finance that cash is king. Okay, so ito yung mga 5 objectives natin for chapter 1. Okay, now let me backtrack a bit and ask you this question. Paki-chat nga guys, what do you think is the main objective of any business? Could you kindly chat? What have you learned so far in your other business subject? Ano ba dapat yung main objective ng isang business entity? Okay, kindly please answer your answer. Let's share your answer in the chat box, guys. Okay, good. So I think very consistent yung to earn, gain profits, generate, earn profit. Yes. Thank you for those who answered. May iba pa, earn profit, okay. Invest in business, yes. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Tama, no? Tama. Okay. To strike a balance between becoming profit maximizing and providing value to customers. Okay, very good. These are all correct answers. Pero let's now. Okay, thank you so much, guys. No, I appreciate your answers. No? So most of you said that the objective should be maximizing profit. No? Most of you maximize profit or maximize earnings. Maximize earnings. Some of you says that there should be a balance. Balance between profit and satisfying customers. No? May ganitong answer din. What's happening to my digital pen? Lolo ko yata. Okay. So now notice that not to discount the importance of maximization of profit or earnings. But my question was, what is the main objective? Unfortunately, guys, ito, hindi siya pwedeng main objective ng any business. No? Of course, may debate dito. No? But most of the fundamental theory of finance tells us that hindi dapat ang i-maximize yung profit. Okay? What should be maximized should instead be maximizing shareholder value. Okay? So this term, shareholder value, ano yung shareholder value? Ano ba yung stock value na yan? Okay, let me give you an example. So let's suppose that, sabihin natin na buhay na kayo 20 years ago, no? And then you invested in Jollibee. You were already adults at that time. You invested in Jollibee. Let's say you invested there at 30 pesos per share. Okay? So nag-invest tayo, no? 1 million shares at 30 pesos per share. Okay. What does it mean, guys, to maximize shareholder value? Does that mean, is it the same as maximizing profit? Actually, guys, hindi. Magkaiba yung maximization of shareholder value at saka maximization of profit. When we say maximization of shareholder value, as the name suggests, guys, ang gusto nating tingnan yung market value ng share of stock. The market value. Market value of the stock. So, okay, this was 20 years ago, no? 30 pesos yung na-invest natin per share. So that's 30 million investment. No? Fast forward. No? So this is 20 years ago. Okay, sandali itong digital pad ko medyo 20 years ago. Okay, fast forward today. Okay, 2021. 2021. Okay, let's assume, guys, if you take a look, hindi ko na-check kanina, no? Pero sabihin natin na, 2 years ago, umabot na ng 300 plus yung share ni Jollibee. Now, that's what we mean by maximizing shareholder value. So you had an investment of 1 million shares at 30 pesos per share 20 years ago. Now, it's 300 pesos per share. Will you be happy, guys? Paki-chat nga kung magiging happy kayo. Kung ganun nangyari sa investment nyo, guys. Yeah. Thank you, Ian. How about the others, guys? Si Ian lang ba yung magiging happy kung naging ganun yung investment niya? I'm sure 100% all of you will say yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes, of course, we will be happy kasi ang initial investment natin 30, ngayon 300 na. Now, note, guys, no amount of putting your money in the bank will ever, kahit 20 years ago na yan, no? Yung 30 million nyo, para maging 300 million siya, kahit anong bangko, guys, hindi kayo bibigyan ng ganyang klaseng growth ng pera. Okay? So this is what we call maximize shareholder value. So the main objective of a business is not really maximizing profit. It is to maximize shareholder value. Kasi yan ang needs ng yan ang gusto ng mga shareholders. Yung mga main investors ng isang business. That's what they want. And of course, our discussion here is all about a company that is listed in the stock exchange. For companies that are not listed in the stock exchange, of course, maximization of value pa rin, pero it will not be the same. No? Intrinsic value yung i-maximize dun, hindi yung market value. Itong mga companies na to, which I mentioned, like Jollibee, these are listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange and their shares can be traded, no? Can be bought or sold in the Philippine stock market. Okay, so ito yung objective, maximization of shareholder value. Now, is there anything wrong with maximizing profit? Nothing wrong with that, but that should not be the main objective of a business. No? Hindi pa pwede na yun ang main objective ng business. Okay, so let's take a look at this, guys, this diagram. So, sabi natin, is it to maximize profits? No. Hindi sa profit maximization. Is it to satisfy customers? Okay, importante ba, guys? Pakichat nga. Do you think that satisfying customers is very important as far as a company is concerned? Kindly chat, guys, for those who say satisfying your customers is important in order for a business to be sustainable. Kindly chat, please, guys. Yeah, of course. I agree. No? I agree with you. Important, no? Important yung sorry guys, let me just check. Okay. satisfying customers or developing customer satisfaction is of prime importance. Importante ba yan for corporate performance? Yes. Because customer satisfaction, guys, is directly linked to generating profits and generating growth. Hindi importante yung profits lang, ha? Importante din yung growth. Okay? Hindi importante na nag-generate lang tayo ng profits, pero yung growth rate ng profits natin, bumababa pa. Okay? Or the market share natin, bumababa. It's not enough just to focus on profits. It's also important to look at the growth of the firm. So, bakit ano bang binibigay ng customer satisfaction? Unang-una, repeat buyers yan. Okay, loyal customers are repeat buyers. Kahit na may bagong competitor na dumating, pag loyal talaga yan, ay, hindi lilipat yan, guys. They're also less sensitive to price, increase in prices. Less sensitive sila. Ibig sabihin, kahit tumaas yung price, kung talagang nakasanayan na, kung talagang doon na talaga sila, they really patronize your product, guys. No amount, well, to a certain degree siguro, but they will be less sensitive to higher prices compared to those that are not loyal to the company. Yung mga hindi loyal, konting change lang ng price yan, maghahanap ng iba yan. Especially to those who are consumers or those who patronize the product and are quite price sensitive. Also, loyalty in crisis. Whatever happens, dun pa rin sila. Take the case, guys, of did you hear about the case of Jollibee? The past may COVID nun, di ba? Yung may nag-deliver ng Chicken Joy, tapos yung nakuha ng instead of Chicken Joy, I think it was a towel. Towel na parang na-coat na ng mga ingredients. Di ba? Crisis yun for Jollibee. But nakarinig ba kayo ng mass exodus ng people patronizing Jollibee, going to McDonald's, or going to other fast food services? Wala naman. Siguro yung branch lang na yun, medyo nag-suffer muna siya for a certain time. Pero wala, afterwards, wala na rin. Back to normal na naman. Okay, so yan isang example ng loyalty in crisis. Na pag may crisis na nangyari sa isang company na yan, the effect will be short-lived lang, just for a time, and then balik na naman sa normal yung loyalty ng mga customers nila. And then the word of mouth, no? Yan ang pinaka-best advertisers, yung satisfied ng customers. They're the best advertising for the company. And then itong one-stop shopping, you can do what we call cross-selling. Ito yung cross-selling kasi. Ano ba yung cross-selling? If the company has a portfolio of several products, it would be very easy to sell the other products to the loyal customers. That's what we call cross-selling. Selling the other products that the company produces to the other customers. Okay, cross-selling. And then, of course, if there are new products, you very well know, guys, yung mga loyalista sa Apple, for example, sa iPhone. Ano na ba yung I lost track already, iPhone 13 Pro. Yan na ba yung bago ngayon? I'm not so sure. Dati, guys, ako sa gadget, pero as you grow older, iba na nagiging priority mo. Parang hindi ko na nga alam kung ano yung mga bagong models ng phone. As you grow older, nagiging utility na yung pinaka-importante, yung usefulness. Since ako ginagamit ko lang for some basic functionalities, then I will not need the new capabilities of the newer ones. No? So this is what customer satisfaction does. So importante ba yung customer satisfaction? Yes. But should it be the main objective of any organization? No. The main objective should be still yung maximization of shareholder value. Okay. Customers are very important, yes. Pero hindi naman yung customers ang naglagak talaga ng pondo para ma-establish yung business na yan. Yes, importante yung customers, and we have to take good care of our customers. Pero more than that, the objective of a firm, its sustainability is hinged on maximizing shareholder value. Okay? Now, as I mentioned a while ago, customer satisfaction has its place. Kasi it will lead to repeat customers, it will lead to cross-selling, and ito yung insensitive sila sa higher prices, reducing price sensitivity, and of course, the very powerful word of mouth advertising. So these are the benefits of customer satisfaction. However, that should not be the main objective. Okay, may kaibahan ba guys yung customer satisfaction is related to profit maximization? Well, of course, based on studies, may may relationship din yung customer satisfaction at saka maximization of shareholder value. Pero guys, ang pinaka-importante talaga, the main objective is really the maximization of shareholder value. And let's just distinguish the two. Kasi medyo magkaiba si profit maximization and wealth maximization in terms of 4 things ang titingnan natin. Number 1, planning duration. Number 2, risk management. Number 3, pricing strategy. And number 4, capacity planning. So our goal is to be able to discuss these 4 slides. Okay? Ito yung natin. Okay, di-discuss natin. Okay. All right. What's the difference between wealth maximization and profit maximization in terms of planning duration? Okay, ito na guys. No? Pag sinabi natin profit maximization, ang main focus nito is yung bottom line natin. Ano ba yung bottom line? When you say bottom line, diba, you have your income statement, diba? Yung pinaka-bottom line, yung pinaka-dulo, yung net income after tax. So this is net income after tax. Ito yung bottom line. So ito yung gusto nating i-maximize. Okay. Now, how do we do this? Okay, kunyari, shareholders meeting in 3 months' time, and we're going to prepare a report, a quarterly report to the shareholders. And if shareholders are not careful, no? Kung hindi nila talaga ina-analyze yung company, pwede ang gawin ng management in order to increase the bottom line, to maximize profit, is to cut back on discretionary expenses. Ano yung discretionary expenses? Unang-una, kunyari, paano mapapaganda yung bottom line? Paano mapapaganda yung net income after tax? Eh di mag-cut back ng mga expenses. Like what? Example, yan, training. Just sa kabilang side, no? Training, you can see this one. So cut back na tayo ng training. 1 million kunyari nasa dyan. If we cut back on this training, what happens? In the next few months, since wala na training cost, tataas yung net income natin. Tataas yung profitability. Good or bad, guys? Pag tataas yung profitability. Good for the short term. Good for the short term. However, guys, however, unfortunately, may mga long-term implications yan. Okay, tanggalin nga natin yung training na yan. And you will see the difference between companies that really take training to heart as compared to companies that really just pay lip service to it. Yung wala, yes, importante yung training, pero hindi naman sila nag-i-invest doon. Okay, case in point, guys. Pag hindi trained yung frontliners, sasagot ng mga phone yan. Kunyari, yung mga call centers ng company. Those that receive calls from customers for customer service. May isang customer galit na galit. Kasi may request siya, tapos legitimate naman yung request, pero hindi pa binibigay ng company. So minura na minura yung call center agent. Okay? Yung mga trained guys, they're taught, they're coached how to shield themselves from verbal abuse like that. Eh yung mga hindi. Eh kasi nag-cut back yung company ng training. Hala, sige, pinersonal. O minura din. Pini-eye din yung customer. patay. Okay, patay. Kasi ang training dyan guys, kahit na pinagmumura ka pa, kahit na anong pinagsasabi sa'yo, binastos ka, no? Dinama yung parents nyo, okay, you shield yourself, okay? But that's not my problem, that's the customer's problem. And I'm shielding myself from any personal attacks. Kasi the problem is the customer. Kung maaring legitimate yung ano niya, yung concern niya, pero for the customer to act like that, pinagmumura yung customer service agent kasi galit na galit siya, that's below the below the line, below the ano naman yun. Okay, hindi na maganda naman yun. So, kahit na legitimate yung concern ng customer. Pero pag train yung mga staff guys, alam nila yan, alam nila na to shield themselves from that. And what they're trained for is to make sure that they answer in such a way that na-assuage yung galit ng customer, to turn this negative energy into something positive para ma-preserve pa rin yung yung customer niyon. Do something about it, act on it, and to convert a disgruntled customer into a happy customer. So yan ang ano guys, no? As far as planning duration is concerned, ang problema sa profit maximization masyadong myopic. 3 months down the road lang yung tinitingnan, 6 months down the road. Unlike guys, pag wealth maximization, invest in research. The bottom line might be affected temporarily in the short term. Pero in the long term, guys, okay, tinan yung nangyari, for example, classic case, yung LRT natin, yung MRT, yung dyan sa EDSA. Ano yan? Yung tinipid-tipid nila, yung yung DOT. Tinipid-tipid nila yung maintenance. Ang ginamit nila na nag-ano ng maintenance, mga walang alam. Okay, nakatipid nga, pero anong nangyari? Diba? Years of neglect. Ngayon na lang naayos yung yung train na yan. Binalik yung Sumitomo as the yes, may gastos talaga, mas mahal. Kaso, safety ng pasahero. Okay, long-term effect. Mas tumatagal yung mga train, mas mabilis yung services. So that's a classic case of profit maximization versus wealth maximization focus. Although, for profit naman yung LRT, MRT. Okay? So maintenance, whether it's equipment, machinery, ang mga pag profit maximization, magka-cutback yan ng sa maintenance. Kasi mataas yung gastos yan eh. So piliin na lang natin yung mga pangit na mga spare parts. Ayun, isang anual lang, sira na kagad. Okay? Kasi it's in the mindset, no? Kasi kailangan natin mag-cut back ng expense. Of course, guys, importante din nag-cut back ng expense, but not sacrificing, guys, long-term viability. Kung cut back lang ng expense with the objective of raising profit in the next few months, iba na yun. Tapos ang nasa-sacrifice pa yung mga items that will have an impact in the long term. And training of staff, maintenance, research, advertising, these things, knowing your customer. Kung hindi nag-i-invest yung company sa advertising, letting the customers know that they are there. No? Andyan sila. Andyan yung company. So, glaring difference, guys, between wealth maximization and profit maximization. Magkaiba yung dalawang schools of thought na to. Okay? So let's go here, risk management. Sana maabot natin yung 4 na slides. Ito importante kasi ito, guys. A company would be exposed to risk. No? Kaya nga importante sa wealth maximization is the process of risk mitigation. In other words, shielding the company against risk. So of course, hindi naman ma-avoid yung risk, pero pwede siyang ma-mitigate or ma-minimize. So this is the company, for example, and hedging them against risk by doing some financial decision-making. Ito guys, pag profit maximization, wag na mag-hedge. Kasi marireduce lang yung profitability niyan. So medyo hindi present or to a certain degree lang, maliit lang, yung concept ng hedging against risk when we talk of profit maximization. So let's take a look at an example. Ito, si Company A, gumagamit siya ng oil as raw materials. No? Okay? Alam naman natin, ang price ng oil very volatile. Yung volatility ng stock prices kasi dependent yan in several market forces. Kunyari, nagkagera sa Iraq, sa Iran, nagka-problema sa Saudi Arabia, or nagkaroon ng inflation ng malaki sa Venezuela. Ito yung mga OPEC countries sa Indonesia. Ito yung mga Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, net exporter sila ng oil. So pag nagkaka-problema dyan, guys, pwedeng maapektuhan yung price ng oil. Ito si Company A, kailangan niya, raw material niya A, oil. So, October 18 ngayon, ano? October 18. Now, kailangan niya by December 31, kailangan niya ng 1 million barrels of oil. Okay? Kailangan niya ng 1 million barrels of oil. Now, at the spot market, pag sinabing spot market, guys, oil is selling at $50. Ibig sabihin, kung bibilhin nila ngayon yan, $50 per barrel. Example lang to, no? Example lang. Now, pag binili nila ngayon yan, saan nila, sabihin natin, may warehouse nga sila, pero baka yung carrying cost nito, yung storage cost nito, masyado malaki. Kailangan pa nila sa December 31 yan. So, is there a way for them to just buy on, pwede ba ang gawin na lang nila, bibili na lang nila sa December 31 yan, sa spot market? Yeah, okay lang. Okay, so yung finance ang ginawa, wala silang ginawa, $50 per barrel ngayon. So naghintay sila ng December 31 para just in time, no? Just in time nila bibilin yung 1 million barrels of oil. Okay, fast forward December 31. Charan, and the oil price went up to $70 per barrel. Okay. If you were the shareholder, guys, magiging masaya ba kayo? Will you be happy, guys? Will you be happy with the scenario? Pakichat naman, please, kung yes or no. Walang ginawa yung company, yung finance. Walang ginawa. So sabi nila, bibili na tayo sa December 31. It so happened nung dumating ng December 31, naging $70 yung oil. Kunyari, board of director tayo. Or kunyari, ano tayo, shareholders. Will you be happy, guys? On December 31? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. No. Of course, guys, no tayo. Kasi 50 dati. Tapos because of turmoil in the Middle East, naging $70. We just lost $20 million. Kasi $1 million times the discrepancy of $20, that's $20 million. Patay. So if you're the CFO, mag-resign ka na. Pakita mo na yung resignation paper mo. Kasi grabe yung ginawa mo. You did not prepare for that. Okay, so anong pwedeng gawin? Anong pwedeng gawin? May mga pwede bang gawin? Yes, may mga pwedeng gawin, no? So sa finance, meron tayong tinatawag na an example of an instrument. So babalik na naman ako sa term na yon. There's an instrument called financial derivatives. Okay, most probably, guys, hindi nyo pa narinig itong term na to. This is an example of an instrument. No? So derivatives, kaya tinawag siya derivatives is because the value of this asset is derived from an underlying asset. Okay, don't bother about the definition. No? Suffice it to say, guys, that there are examples. The main examples of derivatives are forwards, okay, futures, and then options, and then swaps. Okay, so let me cite this example. Kasi ang pwedeng ginawa ng CFO dito in order to hedge the company or in order to mitigate against risk, pwede siyang nag-conduct ng transactions sa futures, no? Futures market. Yung futures market at forwards market, halos magkapareho lang yan. Ang difference lang yan is that a forward market is a contract to buy an item to be delivered in the future. Okay, at a price, no? Kunyari, bibili tayo ng oil ngayon, So sasabihin natin, bibili tayo sa Petron kunyari, we will buy $1 million of oil at $50 to be delivered on December 31. Okay, so that's a forward contract. It's a contract between our company A and Petron. Now, ano naman yung futures? Yung futures, hindi siya private transaction. You go to a futures market. So ang futures market, guys, parang stock market yan. Iba't iba yung mga binibenta dyan. Okay, for example, just to show you guys, an example of a futures or a derivatives market, no? So ipapakita ko lang guys, para may idea tayo. Bagal yung internet, no? So, okay. Let's use CBOT, no? Chicago. Ito. Chicago Board of Trade. Chicago. Yan. Chicago Board of Trade. Okay? So this is a futures market. Parang stock market din siya, guys. Kaso ang binibenta dito, hindi stocks. Okay? Commodities. So if I open this, BOT CME, guys, meron din yan. It's a futures market. Okay? So may mga rules dyan. Okay, so sandali Okay, yan, markets kunyari. Ano yung mga binibenta dito? Ayan. Ayan, agriculture products. Agriculture products, energy products, okay, metals, okay? May metals, etc. So iba't ibang ano guys, ano? May mga gold, copper. So those are the items that are traded in a futures market. So for example, if I go to agriculture, yeah, may mga wheat, may soybeans, etc. Okay, so just be aware that you can transact business in the future market. So sa futures market, hindi siya private transaction. Okay, sa private transaction kasi ang tawag dyan, forward, no? So it's a transaction between two companies. Dito, pupunta sa market na yun, may mga nagbebenta, may mga bumibili, you transact business, no? So you buy, for example, futures, and then i-deliver yan on the date na kung saan man na-transact, kung kailan man yung agreed upon na delivery date. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, so pwede tayong mag-futures market, no? So yung company nag-futures market. So pumunta sila doon, bumili sila ng $1 million of oil at 50, sabi natin at 50. And then to be delivered December 31. Fast forward, December 31, ang spot price ng oil 70. Okay, good job, finance. Kasi na-save nila yung ano, they were able to save the company 20 million, no? 20 million, na-save nila. So okay yun. However, guys, may downside dyan. Paano kung ano? Paano kung instead of $70, oops, instead of $70, the spot price of oil became $25. Okay, nagkaroon ng problema sa Middle East. So, bumagsak yung price ng oil, naging 25. In a futures market ka, you're going to buy oil 1 million barrels at $50. So, patay ka rin, guys. Natalo ka. Ang futures market, maganda yan kung you're expecting prices to go up. Pero volatile kasi ang ano eh, di ba? Unstable din connection ko. Volatile yung oil prices eh. So, ang kagandahan guys, there's another product, there's another instrument called option. So, pwede kang pumunta dun sa market na yon. Ang bibili mo is the option to buy. Okay, yung option guys, you're just going to pay for the options price. So you're not buying the you're not buying the item yet. You're just buying the right to buy the item. So kunyari, bibili ko ng option to buy oil at $50, 1 million barrels on December 31. Okay. Pag dumating na December 31, tapos naging $70 per barrel yung spot price ng oil, then anong gagawin natin? We will exercise the option. Gamitin natin yung option kasi may option to buy tayo eh. Now, yung option price, guys, mura lang yan as compared to the price of the commodity. No? Okay. So, fast forward again, guys. Naging $25 per barrel. What will happen now? We will not exercise the option. Don't exercise. Okay? Don't exercise the option. Huwag mo bibilhin yung option. Huwag mong i-exercise yung option. So, paano ka bibili ng oil? Doon ka na bumili sa spot market kasi sa spot market, ang prevailing price at that time now is $25. So, may loss ka ba? Yes. Ano yung loss natin? Yung option price lang. Which is cheap, no? Cheap lang yan, yung option price. So, may ganyan, guys. And wealth maximization focuses on risk mitigation. Unlike profit maximization. Huwag na tayo mag-option, gastos lang yan. Parang ganun yung mindset, no? Okay, guys, may I have just 1 or 2 minutes, no? It's already almost time, no? So, tapusin ko lang itong very quickly, itong last 2 slides. Pwede ba, guys? 1 or 2 minutes lang. May I have your permission? Yeah. Thank you so much. How about the rest? Yeah, sige. Thank you, Thank you for the permission. Okay, ito na lang, no? Yung huli. Okay, so we have this other one. Okay, nagkakaproblema kasi itong okay, pricing strategy. Ang difference, guys, ng wealth maximization sa profit maximization, pag profit maximization, kailangan as high as possible yung pricing natin. Pag wealth maximization, pwedeng babaan natin eh. Kasi ang objective nito sa profit maximization to really increase profit. And how do you increase profit? Kailangan optimal, kailangan maximum yung pricing natin. So wealth maximization, hindi. Ang objective natin long term, so pwedeng makapture muna natin market share. Makakapag-capture tayo ng market share para over the long run, we will be able to be competitive. So pwedeng mas mababa yung pricing natin. So that's one difference between wealth maximization and profit maximization. And lastly, guys, capacity planning. Sa profit maximization, medyo allergic medyo to sa sa capacity building, Kasi ang pina-focus natin short-term sales forecast. So wag na natin isipin yung 3 years from now. So just cross the bridge when we get there. So wealth maximization, guys, na-project to. 3 years down the road, ano kaya mangyayari sa market? If the market is such, kunyari magdodoble yung market, dapat mag-increase na tayo, mag-expand na tayo ngayon. Kasi hindi na natin makaka-capture yung extra additional market pag ganito pa rin yung capacity natin. So mag-expand na yan, bibili ng bagong equipment, machinery, mag-expand ng capacity. So, yun guys, four differences between wealth maximization vis-a-vis profit maximization. Difference as far as planning duration is concerned, risk management is concerned, pricing strategy, and capacity planning is concerned. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Let me stop recording this.